Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys had a great day. So a lot of stuff we want to get into today. There's obviously the Bitcoin ban possibly in Russia. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about a little bit of the Mining Council having their presentation on YouTube. We'll delve into that a little bit. And then we also have the SEC rejecting Skybridge application for a spot Bitcoin ETF. And then we'll obviously take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, the miners, see how they did. And we'll call it a day. And then after that, I'll probably have a video on miners versus miners, just to kind of look back to see which ones did the best, obviously in Q4 for growth and things like that. So let's get into it here really quick. As always, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. Don't fall for scams. Spam posts get reported and deleted. So here we got Bitcoin, and I've been kind of calling on this a little bit for the past couple of days here and weeks that we may end up going down, which we have been going down, and possibly testing the 20-day moving average. I said that yesterday's video. And lo and behold, here we go. We tested the 20-day moving average today. If you can see that, hopefully you can. Right there, we tested it. We came up. We had a nice day today. We went up to almost 43,500 or so. And then obviously touched the 20-day moving average, and we fell back down throughout the day. And we tested our support here at 40,600. And we bounced off of the support here. We went a little bit below it, but we've basically bounced off of it a little bit here now. It's right around 6:30 or so Central Standard Time. And so right now we're just kind of have to see what happens with this support line. If it breaks the support line, we're definitely going down to 37.5 possibly in the next couple of days, 2 weeks. And we'll see how this obviously plays out. A lot of people were thinking that the news from Russia, that they might be banning mining, didn't really have any effect because the price was going up throughout earlier in the day, and then it just started tanking in late afternoon basically, and it obviously tanked all the way here to our support line. So we'll see how this plays out. Volume obviously was better than the last couple of days here that we had, but it's still not that great. So we'll have to obviously monitor it, see how this plays out. If we take it at Ethereum here, Ethereum did the same thing. It was up nicely today, and then obviously started crashing down later on. So we are at 3,016. It seems like the 3,000 mark is the support line here on Ethereum, and it's trying to stay above it right now. Let me clear my throat. Sorry about that. So we are above the support here. We'll see if this can hold. The more times obviously it touches that support line, the chances of it falling below it obviously increase greatly. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin network hash rate really quick while we're at it. So here's the raw values on it for the last 1 year. And we are at right now 209 million terahashes. We've obviously had a peak here of 216 million a couple days ago. And we were still bouncing off of it. And I think we're going to continue going up higher. You can see the average obviously increasing over time. So that's a good sign in a sense. But obviously miners' revenue is obviously going down as the network hash rate is increasing. So that's obviously concerning, as well as Bitcoin price going down. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. Let's take a look at the miners here really quick, see how they did today. Argo did actually pretty good today. It was up 0.92% today. Another green day on the chart. So it's at 110 right now. Argo obviously provided some information on Twitter about their expansion in Texas, the progress that they're having there. So that kind of helped the stock up a little bit. And then yesterday, obviously, they provided their investment arm as far as investing in DeFi, NFTs, staking, all that stuff. So that's had a positive impact on it. Bitfarms was up today 221% to $4.16. It went up and came back down. CleanSpark did the same thing. It went up a little bit today and actually came down. So it was down 2.38% to 696. And then DigiHost was down 2.72% to 358. DMG was actually up today 6.61%. See if there's any news out. So they just have releases 2021 annual review. So kind of their review of how they did in 2021. So they're up nicely to 60 cents and a half. Hive was up 1.89% to $2.16. Hut 8 was up 2.64% to 623. And it's kind of a mixed bag today with the miners. And then Iris Energy was down 1.3% to 1140. Marathon was down barely, just 0.08 to 2483. Mawson, covered Mawson in a video earlier today that was posted in the morning about their Q4 numbers that they provided, obviously, yesterday. So we went over that as well. So they were up at 1.2% to 505. And then Riot was down 0.11% to 1747, and it's down in after hours. Just like most of these guys are here, except for possibly DigiHost. Is it? Yeah, they're up in after hours, and this one doesn't have any after hours data. All right, so let's take a look at some of the stories that we got here. So Russia proposes a ban, and then we got some, obviously, people chiming in on it. So Russia proposes crypto crackdown. Bitcoin's reaction, no problem. That was the original reaction this morning when the news came out. Everything was going great. Bitcoin's going up, so it's kind of like brushing it off, going, yeah, it's not a big deal. And then throughout the day, it obviously turned into something that's a big deal. We also had the hearings on the Hill about Bitcoin's energy usage, which I think maybe also kind of added on to this selling pressure here a little bit. So that also went on. So here's the latest. Russia's central bank on Thursday proposed a complete ban on crypto mining and trading. Bitcoin's reaction obviously was no worries in the early hours. The largest digital currency by market value rose as much as 4.2% today to 43,463 during New York trading hours. That's even as Russia, which houses roughly 10% of global Bitcoin mining activities, said digital assets bear the hallmarks of pyramid scheme and could pose a threat to the country's financial system. Where have we heard that before? I think it was China. Yeah, so a proclamation by China last year, which had earlier instituted a similar ban, sparked a major sell-off because it had been seen as a major regulatory move that affected a lot of mining operations and posed outright antagonism toward cryptocurrencies. So why is there a muted market reaction this time around? Bitcoin mining is certainly growing faster than whatever it is losing in the announcements. A good way to say it is the currency is more mature at this point. David Towell, president of ProChain Capital, said by phone, "Today we've progressed far beyond this." So obviously you have to see what kind of impact this obviously has. But here are some of the reactions from some of the analysts. So Scott Freeman, co-founder and partner at JST Capital, a financial services firm specializing in digital assets, is quoted as saying, "The recent announcement by a Russian central bank that they want legislation to ban Bitcoin mining, cryptocurrency, has had no effect on the market. We think this is a reflection of the relatively small percentage of mining that takes place in Russia and the fact that miners were able to adjust so quickly when China prohibited mining." It didn't happen quickly, but it happened within several months. So that is true. Additionally, we believe more capacity is already targeted to come online in the U.S. and other places where there's access to cheaper and cleaner energy. So I would agree with that. Matthew Siegel, head of digital assets research at Van Eck Associates, said, "We saw a rapid exodus of miners from China and a temporary drop in the amount of electricity being used to power Bitcoin network. It took some time for the energy to be sourced from other countries, principally the U.S. We'd expect the same thing to occur should Russia crack down on Bitcoin network participants," he said. "One common thread we've seen is that authoritarian dictatorships such as China and Russia tend to fear the transparency that Bitcoin network provides users." And I would agree with that as well. Those are not very free countries. Marcus S., analyst at UK-based Canada-listed digital asset broker Global Block. "The news is significant considering Russia's trading volume last year was reportedly $5 billion, and a ban will heavily impact this. However, I think Russia's banning crypto is not a big deal in the long term, as other countries who are more accepting of digital assets will benefit from Russia's move. Should a ban actually be imposed by law, miners will potentially relocate if they have to. So this ultimately means that miners in welcoming jurisdictions will profit," which is also true. I agree with that as well. And then Anastasia Amoroso, chief investment strategist at iCapital. There's been a lot of changes in the crypto ecosystem in the last couple of years, and one of them has been a lot of miners relocating from places like China to more favorable locations like the United States. So I think that's part of the reason why you don't have a severely adverse market reaction, because a lot of that relocation has already been done in the last couple of years. She said by phone, "Because the crypto community worried about the potential regulatory adversity from places like Russia and China, a lot of mining operations have moved," which is true as well. And you've obviously seen the impact of the miners moving into the U.S. here. You're seeing a lot of announcements in Texas and other places, obviously getting the miners installed. And then Max Gauman, chief investment officer at Alpha Tri AI, Putin and I can't pronounce, that's that Chinese President Xi Putin and Xi often follow each other's policy moves, and both are concerned about the capital flight that comes from crypto. Russia, to their credit, was upfront about that. He said, sometimes we see these situations where crypto news is surprisingly slow to filter into prices. Perhaps some hodlers are hoping the policy won't be signed into law, but to me this seems like likely push BTC further down toward the 30,000 level that is likely to hit before the next cyclical rally. And he might be right there. We've obviously seen it go down to 40,000 now. We'll have to see how it does there. If it goes below 37.5, well, then we could be going down to 30,000 before we bounce back like we did back in the spring. We went down to 28,000 before we eventually came back up, and that was because of obviously the Bitcoin ban in China. And then Larissa Yarovaya, Associate Professor of Finance at the University of Southampton, said the impact of this will be significant. First, at the very least, it will cause immediate cryptocurrency market reaction. And our recent research shows that such events and announcements are increasing both price and policy uncertainty in cryptocurrency markets. Second, it will cause further minor migration processes and changes in Bitcoin mining landscape, she wrote by email. Do not forget the impact of Kazakhstan's political unrest here after China banned Bitcoin. Miners moved to Kazakhstan and the U.S. among other locations. Today, I suspect it will be harder for Russian miners to move their businesses to Kazakhstan considering current political situation. Therefore, it might make a bigger deal for Bitcoin crypto this time. And I actually think she's wrong on this. Obviously, they're not going to be moving to Kazakhstan, but they will find other places where they can mine in more friendlier jurisdictions going forward. So not too worried about that. I think she's a little too downbeat on it. And then John Wu, president of Ava Labs. Once again, we're seeing the crypto market's resilience in this kind of posturing. This is the latest installment in a pattern of monetary authorities calling for a ban of crypto and either seeing no further action or reversing their stance in the near future. So I agree with that as well. So we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, if it happens, it happens. Obviously, price may go down a little bit. But we've seen this before where countries ban it. Bitcoin goes down eventually in time. If you look over the long horizon, Bitcoin actually goes up in the long run. So not too worried about it. If you're in it for the long run, you'll be fine. If you're in it for the trade, you might get hurt. So something to be mindful of. Let's take a look at the SEC here really quick. Some of the things that they said here, we won't get too deep into it. But the commission rejected a rule change allowing listing and trading shares of First Trust Skybridge Bitcoin ETF Trust, citing similar reasons for disapproving Bitcoin spot ETFs from VanEck in November and Wisdom Tree in December. So I've said this before, I don't think it's going to be a while before the SEC approves a spot Bitcoin ETF. The SEC said any rule change in favor of approving the ETF would not be designed to prevent fraudulent and manipulative acts and practices, nor protect investors and the public interest. So that's why they aren't in favor of it. In its rejection, the SEC said that the NYSE had not met the requirements of listing a financial product under its rules of practice as well as those of Exchange Act. Under these restrictions, exchanges seeking to list a BTC ETF need to have a comprehensive surveillance sharing agreement with the regulated market of significant size related to the underlying or reference Bitcoin assets. So this is basically implying that the market, whether it's Coinbase or Gemini or some of the other ones that have access for Bitcoin trading, that their size is obviously possibly too small or it's easier to get manipulation in those markets. The NYC ARCA used a 1 or a 10 million market order example to claim that buying and selling large amounts of Bitcoin would have an insignificant market impact. The exchange also hinted at Tesla's 1.5 billion BTC purchase in February as an example of gaining exposure to crypto through the company's shares, arguing for the need for a different investment vehicle with exposure to BTC as opposed to imperfect Bitcoin proxies, which provide only partial Bitcoin exposure paired with additional risk. And I would agree there. You already have companies buying billions of dollars of Bitcoin. You got obviously Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy buying billions of dollars of Bitcoin. The price did not skyrocket afterwards. They did it basically OTC, and so did Tesla. And the price obviously did tick up a little bit afterwards, but it wasn't a huge shock to the system. And then also you got obviously people going into Tesla and MicroStrategy as proxies, going into these mining companies as proxies as well. So they're already doing it. It's just they're going about it in a different way than a pure spot ETF. So I don't know what the problem is. I think it's just the big boys not in tech, but in the financial markets are trying to keep it down as low as they can for as long as they can to then possibly make as much money on it as they can. So it's always about the money. If you don't know what it is, it's about the money. The commission rejected these claims, citing similar reasons for disapproving Bitcoin spot ETFs from asset manager Van Eck in November and Wisdom Tree in December. To date, the SEC has not approved any ETF with direct exposure to crypto, but has given the green light to offering linked to BTC futures, including ones from ProShares and Valkyrie. And we know that's the case here as well. So I think it's going to be at least a while before this pure spot Bitcoin ETF is approved. I don't know when exactly, whether we have market cap of 2 trillion in Bitcoin or 5 trillion. I don't know when that's going to happen, but we'll see when that happens. A lot of people are still thinking it might happen this year. I hope it does. I really do. But right now it's not looking good. And then finally, we got, obviously, Bitcoin Mining Council. They did their video here. You guys can take a look at it at your own leisure. One thing that was kind of interesting here, I'm not going to play the video, but you can look at it. It's right around the 1 hour mark. They did get a question from a viewer about the Intel ASIC miners. And it was kind of interesting to see what they had to say on it. Obviously, they are looking forward to it to being more efficient, things like that. Which is also obviously going to be, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what the price is of it and everything else like that. But all in all, it's a good video. If you're obviously investing in the miners, you probably should be looking at these videos as well. I'm not going to get in too deep on it. I'm not going to get into it at all. I'll let you guys watch it at your own leisure, but it's about, an hour and a half long. And a lot of good information, a lot of positive information about the miners being more efficient. The energy usage, the clean renewable energy has gone up as well. So those are all positive things, and I think it's a good thing that they have this Bitcoin Mining Council, and it's growing too. They got like 30 some odd companies in there now. So very interesting stuff in there. Highly recommend you guys check that out when you have the time. Other than that, I think that's all I got for you guys today. We'll do the miners versus miners later on. So that's it. If you guys enjoy these videos, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It helps me out tremendously. And that's all I ask of you guys. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.